I've already touched on the backgrounds of the child separation from their parents, family separation, immigration deal going on right now on the southern border. And so I don't want to get in the background of it, but just to expand on a couple points. First, Trump is coming out and saying, "Oh, I don't want this. It's the Democrats' fault. They need to change the law." And oh, by the way, give me my funding for the walls, and let's cut down on all kinds of immigration. The only kind of immigration, other than of course the immigration that would help give work, low wage work for my companies. So it blows my mind how you can say that for a number of reasons. One, who the fuck runs the government? You got the presidency, you got the Supreme Court, you got both houses of Congress, you got most of the state governments. I mean, what are you talking about? If you wanted to change the quote unquote law that enables this, you could have done it. No, because there is no law. I mean, Sessions had instituted the zero tolerance policy, and now here we are. So it just blows my mind that they keep going on this. And I mean, the morons in that administration can't get their heads out of their asses. You got one person saying, "Oh, there's nothing." Then the next day she's giving a press conference to the head of the Homeland Security, which the more I see of Homeland Security, the more I wonder if really it's run its value. That might be one government program I'd look into cutting and integrating it back into other departments. But that's a conversation for another day, and I still want to look into that. But it's just absolutely baffling. Beyond that, then you hear people talking about, "Oh, this is just like when people go to jail." Well, these people didn't murder anybody. These people didn't commit a serious crime or any crime. I mean, other than the crime of crossing into the country illegally, and even in some cases, they're going in through legal asylum routes, and they're still being subjected to this inhumane punishment. And this is what happens when you call people animals. This is what happens when you dehumanize people who are just trying to make a living. And it's just very sad. And I saw one of the videos just a short time ago, and I've seen other ones of these kids, kids, who knows how old they are, 3, 4, 5, crying, and all they want is their parents. And even one of them's like, "Oh, I can talk to my aunt." And it just, you had a border patrol official joking about their crying and comparing it to our North Star, which, I've only been up the north border to Canada, and even those border guards are the biggest douchebags you'll ever meet. I mean, they have no humor or anything, but that's okay. Honestly, I didn't care because they have a job to do, okay? And it's not an easy job, and you're not supposed to have humor. That's fine, okay? Some jobs you just gotta be like that. So I get that. And I never had a big problem with it. But now you're gonna break out that humor out of nowhere, making fun of little kids who just got separated from their parents. All because their parents were trying to get a better life for their kids. They're trying to get them somewhere safe. This isn't a case of a whole bunch of rapists and murderers coming here. That's absolutely disgusting thing to say, although we know that's how Trump started his campaign. This is, go to California, you see what a lot of those immigrants are doing. They're not doing anything other than helping society. They're doing a lot of the jobs that a lot of Americans aren't going to do. So these are mostly good people. Like every group, you're going to have bad apples, but there's a process that has to follow. When you have asylum, keep the families together and have them go through an application process, and either it'll be found to have a good cause or not. All right? It's not that hard. But now, You got Jeff Beauregard Sessions doing this kind of stuff, and I think his interest is more in his racist ideology. I mean, the guy should just go around with a fucking sheet over his head because he's a fucking Klan member. And then Trump, I don't know. I mean, I think part of it is the racism. I think part of it, though, he's taking the advantage of this situation. He's using kids because the man has no shame, has no conscience at all. And this is what he believes in. He believes, everything's a bargaining chip. This is how he ran his businesses too. He wasn't that great a businessman, but he was a good blackmailer. He was a mobster. He was a thug, and what he would do is he'd blackmail people, and that's what he's doing right now. Just like he did with the CHIP program, the children's health insurance policies, and the program. He basically didn't renew it. And then he would say, oh, I want to make a deal, And then finally did, and you got a whole bunch of stuff you wanted. So the Democrats caved, basically. So that's really my take-home message in this case. Trump's a lost cause. I don't know what he's doing. Nobody knows what he's doing. You either like him or you don't, whatever. The Democrats, though, it's incredibly critical that they don't do what they usually do, which is cave, just like on CHIP. They caved. They got CHIP, great, but most of the stuff was what Trump wanted. For a program that should have just been reinstated without question. And it's the same thing here. Trump should have to reverse his policy. No ifs, ands, or buts. But he's like, oh, the Democrats don't want to deal. He's saying, oh, the Democrats this and that, and they need to fund my giant pork project, known as the wall. Waste a whole shit ton of money on his motherfucking wall that is not going to do a goddamn thing and be totally ineffective. All right, but this is the thing, and another lease lottery. Now, it's now at this point right now. This is a key point. This is a fork in the road. Now, Democrats up until now they cave. That's what they do. Right now, they're holding firm. Even the most conservative of Democrats, the Mansions of the world, are holding firm. And that's what they need to keep doing. And they need to take a step further. It's not about, if you want to talk to Republicans, absolutely, you need those Republicans to succeed. I 100% agree. But it can't be, oh, we're going to give you a little this and that. They have to agree. It can't be anything other than that. It just can't be. It can't be about giving $3 billion for border security, anything like that. This has to be done. The policy has to be reversed. Then we can talk about all that immigration and comprehensive integration. The kids should not and should never be a fucking bargaining chip. This is something that's very close to my heart, honestly, because of my own family history. The kids should never motherfucking be a bargaining chip. And that's what Trump is doing right now. He's using these poor kids stuck in these cages, crying, just wanting their mommy and daddy, basically prisoners. He's using them as a bargaining chip to get his own shit. And the Democrats cannot and must not move an inch on that. And if they do, I will march to Washington myself. I don't care if no one else joins me. I'll march to Chuck Schumer's office. I'll march to the White House, which is already happening, actually, and will not leave until they fucking don't do it. You cannot cut deals with this. You cannot this is a case, and I'm going to steal a right-wing talking point, the whole idea of negotiating with terrorists. Always whine about that. Donald Trump is a terrorist, okay? He's terrorizing those kids. Now, you want to negotiate with him, feel free. But you cannot give him an inch. You cannot give him a goddamn cent of wall money. You can't give him anything, all right, until he reverses the policy. Then you talk. This is not an issue of politics. You got even people on the hard right that I find in most of their views despicable who agree that this is immoral. This is not human. This is not politics. This is a human issue. Right? And these things cannot be compromised. Because if we compromise on things like this, then the next step is another group. The next level of vulnerable group will be put into a camp. And the next step will be put into a camp. And before you know it, we're going to have a fucking camp for all kinds of people. right? We're gonna have fucking concentration camps. This is how it fucking begins. So this is what has to be done. You do not give a fucking inch, and if you do, we will march up there and we will throw your fucking asses out of power electorally. Right? So this is a human issue. Show some goddamn spine and fucking get this done. All right? As far as you are concerned, Trump will reverse. He has to.